Hello, good afternoon. My name's Nick Stone and I'm the conference producer at the ARK Group, and delighted to talk to you today about our professional support lawyers event that we're going to be running in October. We're really pleased today to have sponsors Taylor Root, delighted to introduce Lucinda Troostwyk and Ailish Hogan, both PSL and KM Recruitment Consultants at Taylor Root, who are a global recruitment consultancy. And I wanted to talk today about some of the work that you're doing, and delighted to have you as sponsors at the event and some of the things that you're getting up to, so we can learn a little bit more about what you'll be saying at the event and what you think some of those issues are out there at the moment. The first question that I'd like to ask is really around the role of the PSL. How do you think the PSL role is evolving at the moment?
Nick, it's actually a really interesting question because it has evolved a lot since we have been in recruitment, which has been a long time. And initially, I think with the professional support lawyers, the role was very much a backroom role. It was for technical lawyers who spent a lot of time going through precedents and much less time speaking to clients or interacting with anyone outside of their specific group.
Very backroom, wasn't it?
Yeah, very backroom. And I think that the credit crunch happened, and the PSLs were really, they were seen as a luxury, and they were the first people to go during that time of redundancy. But there was a rebirth when the market picked back up, probably 2012, 2013, onwards. And this has created a new brand of professional support lawyers and knowledge management lawyers who really are at the forefront of strategic developments now. They're client facing, they're bringing the internal knowledge out and packaging it for the client, so strengthening the client's brands really. And it's created a whole new career path for people who maybe are stepping away from fee earning for various reasons.
And probably a career path for the first time in this area, isn't it, we're seeing?
Sounds like what you're saying is that the PSL has gone through quite a transformation in that role, the credit crunch and this new reinvention. You think that's very much what you're saying, Ailish?
Very much so, and it's a really interesting time, I think, as well, given the development of technology as well. On the AI side, I mean, we've actually established now a separate desk purely dealing with not necessarily legally qualified people who are going into these roles in law firms to assist developing with their sort of knowledge sharing and knowledge management. So it's a really interesting time indeed at the moment.
Interesting points then. Of course, we talked about transformation and AI, and that speaks to me about opportunities. And I wonder where you see some of those opportunities for the knowledge lawyer in the future. Where do you think they're going to come from and how people are going to engage? What do you think is going to be happening?
I think if we look at the last, certainly since sort of 2013 onwards, the change in the market has been quite phenomenal, certainly not like anything we've seen beforehand in this area. So it's difficult to predict. I think what is common is that there is now, a very defined skill set of what is needed. So lawyers are now having to be not just absolutely excellent academically, but they're having to really step outside that comfort zone. So you're dealing with clients more, but you're also dealing with other, key group heads in the business. So I suppose it's really being just more commercial than ever, which isn't something that necessarily was attributed to this area previously, was it?
No.
So.
And I think as well, there's a whole new career structure being built, and I suppose the most traditional format at the law firms is you've got a junior PSL, a senior PSL, a potential kind of council level PSL, a head of knowledge management, and then a global head of knowledge management. And so that kind of career structure, which as you mentioned before, didn't used to exist, has just created so many opportunities. And it's done two things. It enables junior lawyers to enter into the profession, and then it has created an opportunity for experienced PSLs to take the next step and utilise different skill set. So those business development skill set, the marketing skill set, the management skill set. And a lot of those very senior PSLs are also around the table with the partners.
Very much so. And I think what we're seeing is, even in these roles, we're calling them, as firms are, various different guises, your head of KM, key global development lawyer, but in actual fact, when the process starts, those that have actually managed to really broaden their skill sets and are now bringing so much more to the table are almost carving out their own roles, aren't they? Absolutely. So it's a real education for us, but for the partners and the law firms as well.
A lot more structure, a lot more diversity around career development.
Structure, yes, but in also stepping away from structure, away from the traditional job spec. So quite often somebody will be appointed to do a role that the partners hadn't possibly envisaged initially, but people are coming with such a broader skill set. And I think for the first time, for those who really want to progress and who want to move on and who've done, the PSL is a great foundation for this, but for the first time, I think it's a genuine stepping stone for those who want to move on, to do something much more fundamental to the firm, stepping outside their practice group and being much more involved. Of course, challenges come with that as well, but it's something that's really on the table now for people who want to embrace that going forward.
There's some terrific insights and observations there, and of course when we've been doing our market research, salaries and career progression are very much something that people want to know about, and that really leaves me with the last burning question. We need to know where you think those opportunities are going to come and those salaries. What are you noticing in the market? What can you tell people?
It's a common question at the moment.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And what we tend to say to people, which sometimes is not that helpful, but it's the reality, is that the salaries are very much a reflection of what the PSL can bring to the table. So there tends to be a very wide band, and you move up and down within that band depending on what experience or skills you bring to the table. But we have seen senior experienced PSLs on significant salaries, pairing to kind of partner sorts of salaries as base salaries. I think the thing that we always flag to people going into this, and that the current PSLs already know, is that unlike the fee earners who get year-on-year substantial increases, it's much less so once you enter into the professional support lawyer side. And
there's very much a cap now. If you are completing standard PSL tasks alone, and there are still plenty of roles that offer that, and that's also a really interesting alternative from fee earning. But if you want to then look at a serious step up in salary, you're going to have to be taking on more responsibilities, and you're going to have to be getting more involved with the firm, knowing the firm inside out, and just being more commercially aware of the running of the firm and how you, as a part of or head of the knowledge structuring team, how you can add value, which is essentially bringing costs down for the firm, ensuring knowledge is being shared. But those that have got a passion for that, at the right firm where they're prepared to invest and are willing to and have bought into this, then absolutely, financial rewards are definitely there.
And I think the pinnacle of the kind of rebirth of this PSL role is the fact that it makes a law firm run more efficiently. And I think the law firms are starting to realise that if they pay people well, they get the best people, then those people will have the most impact on making their firm run in the most efficient way. And so it's win-win both for the lawyer, the PSL lawyer, and also for the law firm.
Some terrific observations, there are great pieces of information and insight. And we're really pleased to have Taylor Root sponsoring the event in October. So my big thanks to Lucinda Troostwyk and to Ailish Hogan. We'll be pleased to see you both at the event on our panel discussions in October. And thanks very much indeed for watching.